Welcome to Adam's Athenaeum. Let's take a look together through the news and records of our times as we try to shed light upon the unvarnished truth. Thanks for coming back to listen to this episode about what is commonly referred to as the Don't Say Gay bill introduced to the Florida Legislature. In today's day and age, we all hear a lot of buzz stories that come in and out of the news cycle and seem to be gone in a flash, yet they still have a longer lasting impact. When I first heard about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, otherwise known as CS HB 1557, or Parental Rights in Education officially, as is typical of today's legacy media coverage, we are already at odds with the truth, and we haven't even gone past the title yet. Have places like MSNBC been lying to you? Or even worse, manipulating the story and its facts to suit their political narrative in support of the LGBTQ movement? Has the media tried to sow discord and divide based solely on headlines, instead of just simply showing you what the bill itself says and letting you decide what it says? I'm guessing that's why you came here. To hear the truth about what's going on in Florida, to understand the nature of government, and to just simply hear, in plain English, what this bill would mean for you and your school children. Here you go, my friends, direct from the Florida Legislature, in their words, as would be put into law. So let's break this bill down piece by piece, and starting with the preamble, it approximately states, requires district school boards to adopt procedures that comport with certain provisions of law for notifying students' parent of specified information, meaning school boards and districts must stay in lawful compliance of notifying parents or legal guardians of specified information. Specified information most likely referring to the words mentioned later in the bill. It continues, requires such procedures to reinforce fundamental right of parents to make decisions regarding upbringing and control of their children. Meaning, while maintaining compliance with the law, schools must support the rights and viewpoints of parents regarding the upbringing and care of their child. This also gives scope to the document, adding what the parents' rights are in relation to the upbringing of the child. And as we continue, prohibits school district from adopting procedures or student support forms that prohibit school district personnel from notifying parent about specified information, or that could encourage student to withhold from parent such information. And I shouldn't have to break this sentence down, but as I read it, it plainly says, schools and school districts are not allowed in any way from keeping secrets from the parents, nor should they encourage the child to keep the topic as a secret from their parents or guardians. I think that's more than reasonable. Why would you trust sending your child to an institution for 8 hours a day while you're out working hard just for them to be taught to keep secrets from you? And not just small tee-hee kind of secrets, but secrets about what is being talked about in the classroom. Let's go ahead and read some more. Prohibits school district personnel from discouraging or prohibiting parental notification and involvement in critical decisions affecting students' mental, emotional, or physical well-being. This one also seemed quite easy to understand for me. I understood this to say, you are not allowed to tell your students to exclude their parents from certain conversations, and that if the school finds out that these conversations are taking place, that no school or district personnel may interfere in notifying and involving the parents in matters affecting the student's mental, emotional, or physical well-being. How is it bad that we are telling schools to include parents in these decisions? As we read the later half of the bill, it says, prohibits classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in certain grade levels, requires school districts to notify parents of healthcare services. This bill specifically and only pertains to children in kindergarten through 3rd grade. In other words, it prohibits teachers from going on opinionated, activist-style rants espousing crazy ideology to your children. It does not ban the small discussion of these topics, but specifically as a broad topic of the day kind of way. It's trying to say, if these types of classroom discussions happen in lower grades, it will require school districts to notify parents, which seems plenty fair to me. The last sentence of the bill authorizes parent to bring action against school district to obtain declaratory judgment, provides for additional award of injunctive relief, damages, and reasonable attorney fees and court costs to certain parents. This just pertains to the legal actions available related to this bill. I just wanted to include it so you can see that I'm not hiding anything from you. So as we know, I'm no legal expert. I originally tried to find context for this story through MSNBC, who had a very twisted opinion piece on the matter, which was similar to other headlines from other legacy and corporate media companies. The article in question from MSNBC is titled, "Here's What Florida's Don't Say Gay Bill Would Do and What It Wouldn't Do," by Matt Levites. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm going to go ahead and show you some highlights from this article and discuss what troubled me, as again, I was going to MSNBC as a place for context. Had I stuck with them, I probably would have been misled as to what the Florida bill actually says and intends to change. They accurately point out the ridiculousness and fallacy of having a fake title such as Don't Say Gay Bill. They do note that nowhere in the bill is the word gay mentioned, but they immediately try to bash the bill as though it's being anti-LGBTQ when they write, "It does, however, contain the terms sexual orientation and gender identity each twice." Who cares that they use those terms twice? Perhaps it's because that's partly what the bill pertains to? If we play this game, how many times did they use the word of or prohibits? It doesn't matter how many times a word was used, it doesn't add up to why other words weren't used. And they immediately follow this pitiful attempt of discreditation by trying to slam another culture war topic by implying, people who support this bill must also be those crazies who think critical race theory is being taught in schools. Well, I've done my own episode on critical race theory, proving how it is being taught in schools to your children. So please, go watch that video after this. As the article continues, they try to subvert your attention from the facts of the article by telling you how other people are confused by this bill and how they don't understand why the bill is structured how it is. I mean, in terms of legalese, this bill was pretty simple and straightforward and quite easy for a layman like me to read and understand. It was a lot easier to read than any of the terms and conditions that we regularly agree to on our phones, apps, or websites that we regularly use. Basically, Florida thinks that teachers, schools, and school boards should not be allowed to teach sex ed, or more specifically, sex and gender ideology, to children in kindergarten through 3rd grade without parents being notified. It also basically says that school faculty, in particular, are prohibited from holding sensitive classroom discussions or pogroms when speaking about the aforementioned topics. And that no staff should encourage a child to keep secrets about gender and sex from their parents. This bill has everything to do with supporting kids and keeping them as innocent as possible for as long as possible. I ask you, Why do teachers and school boards seem to be demanding that they teach your 5 to 9-year-old about sex topics and discussions? Isn't that your responsibility and your choice as a parent? Isn't it your choice of when and how to expose them to those questions? Maybe child A is ready for the birds and the bees talk at age 9. Maybe child B isn't mature enough to hear about it until age 11 or 13. Either way, why is the school trying to force the situation and make parents butt out? Once again, the media is lying to you. The far left nut jobs with their crazy Marxist ideologies are trying to sell you a lie that, when held up to the light, is just a story that you can see right through. The SJW types and the legacy and corporate media shills would have you believe Florida, or Ron DeSantis himself, is anti-LGBTQ, or whatever. Or that all Republicans don't want to hear you say the word gay, and that they are just anti-LGBTQ. Just stop with your projection and revisionist bullshit. I read to you, word for word, what this bill says, and I interpreted it to the best of my ability what it seems to plainly say. I've shown you a major news company, their headline and story right next to the actual facts of the bill, and you were lied to. You were deceived and misinformed so that you would feel an emotional reaction to a headline, rather than doing research to see what's really happening in the world around you. So please stop. Yes, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, and any other 3 or 4 letter news station that I forgot to mention. We see through your lies, propaganda, manipulation, and misconstrued facts. We ask you to stop lying to people's faces. Please stop brainwashing American citizens into believing lies, and just be honest with them, as I am. Stop pushing your political agenda when it makes no sense, rationally, ideologically, or even in implementation. As I always say and preach, honesty, and yes, the truth hurts. But the truth is what we need. We all need the same basic facts and understandings if we are to move forward as one people. And I do hope we have the strength to come back to the middle and love our fellow neighbor, even if they want to have sex talks with kids in kindergarten through 3rd grade. Somehow, we must bridge the divide. As always, I hope to see you next week. I post videos every Thursday, so please subscribe to be reminded. I look forward to seeing the peaceful discourse in the comments section, as I always try to stay active there. And lastly, please feel free to share this video with any of your friends and family, but particularly to someone who doesn't understand this bill. I'll see you next week.